Welcome to a Management Plus training webinar. My name is Kevin Sloan. I am a certified electronic health record specialist and certified ophthalmic technician. Management Plus is an industry leader in EHR, and we want to provide you with the documentation tools and the skills to use these tools proficiently. Today's training webinar is titled Clinical Decision Support Rules, OD, or otherwise known as the optometry forms. Let's get started. We will be reviewing the 5 clinical decision support rules that are set up for you as a courtesy by Management Plus so that you are aware of the triggers for each of these 5 clinical decision support rules. Your first one is on the History and Meds form. This is associated with your smoking status. Within this government-approved drop-down list are items that you must select. You should not ever type anything in here other than what's on this. So you should always just pick an option from the list. If you choose current everyday, someday smoker, current status unknown, heavy or light tobacco smoker, whenever you exit this control, an information message will display that says, "Don't forget to discuss smoking cessation." It will automatically be set to give you the focus on the discuss cessation checkbox, which by clicking the space bar will either set the flag or uncheck it if it's already checked as well. Or you can just manually click this with your mouse. If you choose an option that says never smoker or an option that is associated with no smoking and then exit that control, you will not get that information message. So it's only triggered on specific items. Okay, unknown if ever smoked will not trigger it as well. But any of the others, current someday as well, that will trigger that. And you can set that flag just by clicking that or hitting the space bar. That's CDS rule number 1. The second one is associated with the fall risk. As you can see here for Bob, it's already been set. I am going to unselect that. I'm going to do that for 2 reasons. 1, I want to show you what happens when it is unselected. And 2, you should unselect this and then exit the control and then enter the control again to reset it on a yearly basis whenever you ask the patient if they have fallen in the last 6 months. If they say no, you click the box. If they say yes, you still set the flag by clicking the box, but then tell them to go and see their family doctor. That will give you the update on the field audit. I'm going to unselect it again, exit the form and go back, and then come back into the History and Meds form, and you will see that we get an information message displayed that says don't forget to assess fall risk. That's because Bob Hope, if he was alive, would happen to be 112 years old. So any patient that is 65 and older, this will display. So on new records, when you're first starting out with EHR, you'll see a lot of that. Then once you set this box, you won't be seeing that very much in the future. But again, you should set that field audit once a year by unchecking that, exiting the control, and then clicking that back again. Third one is found on the examination form. I'm going to actually delete this off. If you enter a code of E10.311 and then exit, an information message will display that says don't forget to communication with the patient's diabetes physician. This will occur for all 7 of the top 7 diagnoses up here. 8 through 12 it will not, but the top 7 it will. This will also occur for codes E10.319, 329, 339, 349, and 359. So let's just put down here this code, and when I exit that by either clicking into another control or pressing tab, it will display the same informational message. Bear in mind, If you set these codes via a script from any type of script button macro or the potential diagnoses, because you have not physically entered the control, which means you will not be exiting that control, so that clinical decision support rule will not fire. So bear that in mind. It's perfectly fine if it doesn't pop up whenever you have this code entered. Just know that your system is set up to do that. So in the event that you do enter any of these controls for these master diagnoses and then enter any of those diagnosis codes that I mentioned, it will display that alert, just like it's doing here. Okay, so that is your third clinical decision support rule. Okay. The next one has to do with medications reconciliation. Down here toward the bottom, you can see that we do not have a physician documented within the referred by control. Okay, so when we go to the history and meds form, we do not see any type of an alert message in regards to that. Let's put a physician in here, okay, and then exit that control. And you can see now we have an informational message that says reminder medications need to be reconciled. That's upon exiting this form here, or this control with the physician. You can click on history and meds. You'll get that message. Then here's the button that says medication reconciliation. When you click that button, it sets this text message here onto that. Now when you come back to this form, if you exit this control again, you will not get that information message because the meds have already been reconciled. So you can do that as many times as you want and come back into this form as many times as you need to. You will not get that message any longer for this one record because this has already been set. On the workup form is your last clinical decision support rule. So CDS rule number 5 has to do with pressures that are over 23. If I enter a pressure of 21 and go to the left eye, nothing happens other than it sets that to be the same. But if I change that to 25, an alert message will display that says if angles are narrow and chambers shallow, you may need to do gonioscopy. So that is your 5th clinical decision support rule. It also turns the text to red. If you set that to 22, it'll change it to black, and then upon exiting, you will not get that informational message. Let's take a look at the main screen of Management Plus, File, Administration, System Properties, and then Meaningful Use. You will want to set the date that you begin running EHR within this control here in regard to your clinical decision support rule. For your first time, you really only need 1, but we do set you up with 5 right from the start so that whenever you get to stage 2, you're all set and you don't have to worry about adding more. So this date here will be the date that you first begin to run EHR within your office, because we have you totally set up right from the start with all 5 clinical decision support rules. This concludes the training on the clinical decision support rules for the optometry forms. Thank you.